And welcome to the We Like Sportz Podcast once again. Halloween was crazy, man.
Oh, man, what a weekend. What a Halloween weekend. And you know what? I mean, the orange is in the air. The orange is on everybody. I mean, even
the orange.
Peyton's wearing orange. So I guess
shout out to the guys of the Opposites of Experts
Right.
podcast. I'm wearing the hoodie. That's also my softball team name.
Heck yeah.
Brandon, Pat. There you go.
Well, hopefully the orange keeps on continuing throughout this rest of the weekend, and the Browns can actually pull out another victory. And they got the Raiders today, Peyton.
Yeah.
That's an interesting matchup. The Raiders have come in and lost to some easy teams. They've also beaten some very tough teams.
Specifically the Chiefs.
They've beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, gave them their only loss. We have a very, very interesting matchup, especially since it's in Cleveland. It's a windy day.
The weather's going to be turning snow, sleet, rain,
you don't know what's going to
tornadoes.
happen off that lake, you know?
But it's going to go one of two ways, and that's any other game, though, too. The Raiders, it's really a toss-up because Derek Carr has his good games, he has his bad games. You have Baker Mayfield that's playing his first full game without Odell Beckham Jr. You saw what happened last week near the end. You saw Donovan Peoples-Jones have more success first time playing. You had Rashard Higgins.
I think Rashard Higgins is definitely the key to today. The way he comes in, the way Baker just sees the field when he's on the field, it's night and day. It really is. He looks like a totally different quarterback when Rashard Higgins is on the field. And I just hope they keep on going to him because there's no reason he should have been in Freddie Kitchens' doghouse.
No pun
Freddie
intended.
Freddie Kitchens had no idea what he was doing, obviously, but Rashard Higgins, I think the lack of use that he used of Rashard Higgins was probably his downfall. And Baker's just a better guy when Odell's not on the field, and I can't wait to see how an entire game, like how that translates on the field.
So, I mean, honestly, to break it down in the past, Freddie Kitchens and his head coaching attempt, because that's all it was.
Yeah, that's really all it was.
But with him, I mean, he was running the wishbone back when it was Greg Williams, and he was calling the offense. And the wishbone has two running backs, and that was kind of your start of Kareem Hunt or Carlos Hyde back then.
Oh, yeah.
How long ago? And then you also have Nick Chubb. Is that just something that he fell in love with, the two running backs, and didn't really pay attention to the pass game and could have forgotten about your other wide receivers besides Jarvis? And that's why Rashard Higgins maybe was just forgotten.
How in the world do you forget about the pass game when you're a first-time head coach and you get Odell Beckham Jr. handed to you? Like, you can't forget about the pass game. No, it's the fact of the system didn't work, and you had too many high-powered, like, big-name superstars on one team, and they all wanted their touches. And Baker just needs time to just sit back and relax and see the entire field. He gets the protection. The problem is he's not making the reads.
And he also isn't
when he doesn't have to
protection.
worry about getting a guy touches. That's when he relaxes. That's when he sees the whole field, and he just makes the best throw.
And the thing is, too, is we were talking about this Friday at the radio station in Troy, and the downfall is that it's December 14th. That's the next time you play a true defense. They're playing the Ravens. The Browns are.
Yeah.
You have until November 1st today, until December 14th, you have that time span of weeks of not competitive defenses, and Baker Mayfield could look like a god.
Yeah, he can.
And the thing is that that could be all placebo because you're playing the Raiders, you're playing the Bengals, you're playing the Titans, and the Titans' defense, not the greatest. You've seen it, that their pass defense not that good.
Yeah.
You just have all these teams that, like, it'll be kind of blowing up your stats, like if you ended up just playing cupcake teams pretty much. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, but it does. Even if you play the cupcake teams, you need to be successful against them because when you play the good teams, they're going to watch the film against the bad teams. They're not just going to watch the film on the games they play. They're going to watch and see what you do against other teams as well, and they'll have to take that away. So being successful actually helps them in different ways off the field. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Pittsburgh Steelers when they go to face Cleveland next. They're not just going to watch only film work from the Browns-Steelers games.
Right.
They're going to watch every single game, and they're going to study every single successful thing that the Browns have done. So that's actually, it's going to change their game plan just a little bit, just because they have to take it away. They didn't have to take that away in the last victory, or the last loss to the Steelers. They shut us completely down.
Yeah, I mean, they were crashing through the offensive line like there was no tomorrow, and that was the downfall. We were saying,
and you know the Browns are going
line versus
to,
line.
you know Kevin Stefanski is going to get those guys doing something totally different for that Steelers game. It's going to be a totally different ball game, I believe, hopefully. But that's the thing. When you're the Steelers, you got a game plan for everything the Browns do against the shitty teams. So I'm really hoping that they actually give them something to actually watch.
So let me get your thoughts on this statement right here. You got Rashard Higgins replacing Odell pretty much the rest of the season.
I love it that he's starting.
Kimberly A. Martin, ESPN NFL reporter, was told by Rashard Higgins that he feels so close to Baker Mayfield that he feels like, quote, his mama gave birth to him. So, like, I mean, if you guys have that natural of a connection, and to go a step further, like you mentioned before with Freddie Kitchens, and you could not have those two on the field at the same time, what are you missing out? Like, why? What is the point?
It doesn't make sense to me because if you think about it, when Baker was a rookie and he was getting second-string reps because Tyrod Taylor was the starting quarterback, the best receiver on the field at all times was Rashard Higgins. Because he was the third string. He was your number 3, number 4, wide receiver in training camp, mini camp, all that stuff. So they put together a really good relationship right from the beginning because Baker was not a starter and Rashard Higgins was not a starter.
Right.
They have that connection. They felt each other out. He was his Randy Moss. He was his number 1 guy, whatever you want to call it. And he just got used to him, and they are a great connection together, and he needs to be on the field whenever Baker plays.
And that's the thing is that depending on how this goes, again, playing these weeks of non-difficult defenses, you know damn well, and there's already rumors out that Odell's not going to be back next year, that this could have been the last time, and they'll trade him in the spring or summer or whatever. If they play good without him, nobody's going to miss him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was brought in because of one reason only. That's because John Dorsey wanted to make an impact and a statement. And look, it got him fired.
Yeah.
It got him fired because it didn't work. So I mean, I like what Andrew Berry's doing with the off season. He really put together a team that can be successful because you win games starting in the trenches.
Yep.
That's the first thing he did. Beefed up that offensive line. It's paid off so far. It really has. And I can't wait to see what he does in the second off season to make this team better. But hey, we still have almost 3/4 of the season left. Let's keep on riding this thing out and see where it goes. It's going to be fun.
I mean, Browns are 5-2. After
a little
today,
over half, yeah. A little over half the season left.
After today, they could be 6-2. They could be 5-3.
Could be.
That's still a winning record, though.
Nobody would ever have thought that. I mean, even
with a rookie head coach.
Yeah,
rookie head coaches in the past.
This does not happen. The turnover rate is so incredible with Browns coaches. We're just not used to this. And like we said, what was it? Last week when they lost to or 2 weeks ago when they lost to the Steelers.
Yep.
We said even though we're 4-2. Feels like 0-6.
Yep, because people are all negative.
We didn't win that convincingly. It's been a close game every time. But hey, that's the difference between a great team and a bad team.
Yeah, I mean,
winning the close ones. So
and you got to beat the bad teams, and that's what they're doing so far. You're beating teams like Cincinnati. Yeah, it's close, but you still beat them.
Yep.
You have to beat teams like your Dallas Cowboys that weren't a bad
great
team
game too.
When
they had Dak Prescott, they were good. Yeah.
And people are even saying, too, before we end up taking a quick break, so you ended up having that possibility of Odell leaving, and people were giving their thoughts on social media. If they trade Odell Beckham Jr., obviously this is make-believe, this is wishing for it right now. I don't know how I feel about this, but they were like, what if you end up trading Odell to the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas ends up trading you Dak Prescott?
No, I want to ride it with Baker. I don't want. No, I'm a Baker guy. I just want to see what happens, and I just want to ride out with him. I would trade him for a linebacker. I would trade him for defense. You don't need any more offensive weapons. As thin as we are right now with Hooper being down, and Odell obviously and Chubb. You still don't need any offensive weapons, I believe. I think you just need to buff up that defense, really.
And, I mean, the thing is, too, is you have, November 3rd is the trade deadline. You got, I think, or else it's next week. You got another week or so until the Browns make a move, possibly. David Njoku might still be here, even though he hates it here and he's not getting playing time. I think that's somebody you should try to trade for draft picks or a linebacker or that defensive position. We keep on saying week after week, Sendejo is not the option in safety.
No, absolutely not.
So, I mean, there's so many things going on right now. The Browns playing the Raiders. The weather's going to be a factor. I mean, Oakland when they were in Oakland, nice area. Las Vegas, same thing, nicer area. And now you come to Cleveland, and Cleveland's going to be 40 degrees.
Oh, it's windy.
Snow.
You can see the trees moving out there. It's pretty windy.
So if it comes down to a final field goal, Cody Parkey with the win, missing that extra point last week, does that scare you?
Oh, it absolutely scares me. I'm not worried about just missing, the last game tying or game winning field goal. I'm worried about going, only getting 6 points instead of 7. I mean, I'm worried about the PATs. I mean, the 35 yards in the wind. It's not fun.
Well, what's Phil Dawson doing?
Probably sitting on the couch, relaxing, and having a coffee because, he earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think it's time to take this quick break. On that note, when we get back, obviously talking more Browns, talking Ohio State. Ohio State covered by a half a point last night with that spread. They were 12.5 favorites. They won by 13. So if you're betting and took that, good for you. You got yourself some money. But on that note, we'll come back. First stop, Bar and Grill, live in Parma. We'll be back. Parker Pierce, Peyton Vince on the We Like Sportz Podcast. And welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast with Parker Pierce and Peyton Vince. That's me, that's Parker Pierce.
No, you're kidding.
Listen,
Dude, I can't wait till you shave that thing off your face. I am sick of staring at it.
If I was not drinking adult beverages yesterday, I could have shaved that off last night after playing softball, because I went as Hulk Hogan. That's why. That's what I wanted to get the bandana. I wanted to get the Hulkamania shirt. But instead I just wore this and baseball pants that I left at the field.
You're an idiot.
I'm getting them back, though. That's the good news. But I'm so excited to shave this off finally.
Yeah, me too. We're all really excited.
Maybe I might actually not be single for a long time then. Like, maybe that's a factor. But yeah,
Keep dreaming.
So I told you that we had like the Halloween tournament out in Lorraine, and you got co-ed, you got men's league, 2 separate times. We had our downtime. I mean, if you play in the tournament before, you know how much downtime you end up having if there's 2 fields.
Oh, that's it? That sounds
that
like
was
a non-pleasant day.
It was a long day. Like, the last games were supposed to be 6 o'clock. I think we ended up leaving at like 9. Finished 3rd place, not bad. Good time.
Oh, wow.
But, like, one of the chicks that was on, like, playing co-ed, me being me, I mean, if anybody knows me, I'm a smart ass. She's up.
You don't have to be smart to be a smart ass.
That's true.
Just remember that.
But, so she's up, and, like, she's getting ready to swing, and me take a minute, and I go, I think I saw her on Tinder before.
You would. You would. Oh, my goodness.
But that's the thing though. Like
he's reached that level of desperate. What would you call
desperation?
it? Desperation. I was gonna say like despology. Like
that's psychology.
No, you're turning it into a science of being desperate. That's what I mean.
But I mean, it was such a good night. You had like people dressed up. Like you saw the South Park pandemic special, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know how I think it was Randy ended up having, like, the face and whatnot? You know Token, right?
Yeah.
Softball? So he has the Randy's face, and he also has a container of things. And he's saying, like, he's carrying it around, and I'm like, is that your pandemic special? And he was like, yeah. And he was pitching with this, like, enlarged fat head on, too.
That's awesome.
So, like, everybody, like, some people dressed up, went all out. Other people, like, there's some dick out there.
We were at a Halloween party on Friday night, and there were these 3 guys I know, and they went as the guys from Average Joe's Gym, and they killed it.
My gosh.
It was awesome.
That's dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
And like seen on social media too, I saw like a kid dressed up as the beer guy at Indians games.
Oh, beer guy.
You had a kid that was dressed up as Mike Tomlin. He had the beard and the Steelers hoodie. And I'm like, this is things I wish I would have thought of as a kid. Like the beer guy, like he had like the ice cold beer, the blue bucket and everything, the orange or like the bright green shirt.
One of my favorite ones I saw was a guy and his girlfriend went as pretty much as the girlfriend. You know, she dressed pretty much completely normal, and he put a wig on. And his shirt said before filter, and her shirt said after filter. It was great.
Damn. Oh, wow. Snapchat filter or just regular?
It doesn't matter. Is there a filter that removes your facial hair? I mean,
no, but I could say there's a filter that ends up removing my hairline, and that's just me taking off this hat. See?
Who is this, Ben Ganucci? We were told we got to talk about him.
Why is that?
The Italian guy. He said if the Eagles win, they're going to be swimming in with the fishes or something like that.
That sounds like an Italian statement.
Yep.
But, yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State, obviously a little bit closer than you'd think with Penn State. Saturday night game, typical when it's Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah.
Justin Fields still looked good.
He did look good. The thing that was weird for me was the fact that you're in Happy Valley and there was no whiteout, and it just I hate this. I hate the COVID. I hate it all. Just didn't feel right without Penn State having the complete whiteout. It would have been awesome. I mean, I love it whenever they go to play at Happy Valley. It's just a whole different atmosphere. You just know it's a big game because their stadium's even bigger than the Horseshoe, and
right.
It's all white out. It's just so cool to even just watch it on TV.
Wasn't it?
It just seems different.
Not too long ago, I think they ended up losing this game too because Saquon was still at Penn State. but it was when Ohio State went with the blackout.
Yep.
And the black-red uniforms, I think Cardale or either
No, it was
JT Barrett.
JT Barrett.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember I was in a cabin down in West Virginia during that game, and I was not happy.
I loved the uniforms, though. Uniforms looked great.
Oh, here we got a NFL countdown doing the game picks for the Raiders versus the Browns right now. Browns are 5-2, Raiders 3-3. Randy Moss takes the Oakland Raiders.
That's something. He played with Oakland at some point. Remember that.
That's true.
Never played with Cleveland. I mean,
But we can go back to the Buckeyes. I just saw that real quick.
yeah, we could run that down and just get the whole entire breakdown after they're all done, 'cause analysis and whatnot. But yeah, with the Buckeyes, I mean, Chris Olave ended up having a touchdown reception. I want to say the kid that they, like, 5-star recruit, I need to learn this guy's name because he's super good. He was the one that ended up having, I think, a touchdown, or else he dropped the one in the end zone week 1 against Nebraska. I'm interested to see. Also, I ended up seeing some rumors, too, that if Michigan ends up losing out, Jim Harbaugh is gone.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh should be gone either way. I mean, you are the opposite of undefeated against Ohio State in your entire career.
They want him
your
to win
khaki
out
pants
and
are
beat
terrible.
Ohio State.
I know you probably get them at Walmart, but your khaki pants are absolutely awful. Nobody will respect you if you're wearing khaki pants. I mean, the Harbaugh needs to be gone. I mean, he was all right in San Francisco, but
Look at this really quick,
you think-
though. You saw Randy Moss start off
Yep.
with the Las Vegas Raiders, and everybody else picked the Browns.
good. That's a good sign, I guess, right?
Depends which way you look at it. You remember when everybody had the SI curse for the Indians?
Yeah.
I'll bring that up.
But,
Go on with what you were saying.
Where was I at? You made me go off track.
I don't remember.
Yeah, fish it back in. Come on, what are you doing?
Fish it back
Host?
in?
What was I talking about?
You were talking about Ohio State, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I was definitely talking about Ohio State, but what part of Ohio State was I talking about? You got me off track.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh on the khaki
Yeah,
pants.
khaki
There we
pants.
go.
Yeah, khaki pants. First of all, Jim Harbaugh, why would you ever leave Stanford? You had something so great there. You would have been paid. You would have been paid so much money compared to the NFL. You did have a decent career in San Francisco, but if you're going back to college, what are you doing going to Big Blue Michigan? You think Stanford would ever take Jim Harbaugh back?
I don't think anybody wants Harbaugh back
No,
whatsoever.
I don't
NFL
think so.
teams, college. I mean, but
His
at
brother
one
John,
time- yeah, as an
he's
assistant.
pretty good.
Is he still coaching the Ravens too? That's
Yes, he is.
unbelievable.
I mean, he's been there almost 11 years now.
Yeah, he's been around
Somewhere
for a
around
minute.
12?
And it seems like Jim and
When-
John were going to combine.
He was there when
good
Joe
runs.
Flacco first came in the league, I believe.
Yeah, and look where Flacco's at now, starting for the Jets because Sam Darnold is.
He's starting for the Jets.
Yeah, and
They might be better.
No, the Jets are 0-20 this year.
Yeah.
They're going to play 4 extra games. Those spring training games that they didn't even play. I'm counting those as
Preseason?
lost. Yeah. I saw the Saints and I was thinking spring.
Oh,
S&S.
I think of rain and hurricanes and stuff. I think of the Saints.
But with Ohio State, though, how far? I mean, here's the thing, though. Clemson ended up having Trevor Lawrence out because he had a positive COVID test.
And they had a nail biter too.
But their starter, though, that I can't even pronounce his name, but he ended up having, I think he went 30 for 35.
Yeah, he did. He did really well. It was interesting to see how Clemson would react to losing Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that's a bona fide top 5 pick, possibly the number 1 overall pick in the draft that you're losing out on. But when you're an organization like Clemson, that's just like Ohio State.
Yeah.
At least as of late. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. You should still be able to win any game possible. Any game in your division, it doesn't matter who it is. You got to win when you're Clemson. And the fact that it was that close, it makes me
Boston
wonder
College.
Yeah, to BC. BC is terrible. They've been terrible ever since Doug Flutie left. I mean,
Right.
they got nothing out there. And I mean, that makes you really think, how good is Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, it's always within the team that you're playing for. I mean, you could look at Ohio State, and I hate to bring it up, but all the quarterbacks that they have, you go back from Troy Smith to Braxton Miller to Terrell Pryor to Cardale Jones, JT Barrett. There's a guy in between there that I'm blanking
Haskins,
on.
Dwayne
Yeah,
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins too, and now you have Justin Fields. How good are these quarterbacks actually that Because when they do become pros, look where they end up. 2 of them ended up becoming a wide receiver.
Receivers. Yep.
You have
No, and
Troy
nobody else
Smith
was. Troy Smith
didn't ever pan out.
No, he was. What did he go to Baltimore and he was a backup? I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean sometimes in college, the quarterback makes the team, but sometimes the team makes the quarterback. I mean, look at Justin Herbert right now, having all this success playing at Oregon. He played at Oregon, and now he's having so much success in the NFL. Even though his team wasn't that good, he made the team good.
Yep.
It's not like Mariota. When Mariota was in Oregon, the team made Mariota.
And that was all Chip Kelly guys too.
Yeah.
Well, Herbert wasn't, but that was Mariota, was Chip Kelly. That went hand in hand. It just makes you wonder how good this actually, especially that kind of quarterback too. Back then, that was kind of like the first of its kind. You ended up having maybe 5 quarterbacks that scramble. You had Cam Newton. You had
pretty much
Mariota,
Ohio State running back or quarterback.
Quarterback, but they didn't end up starting.
Yeah.
But you had those guys that scramble, and then within the last 3 years, every single quarterback has that. Tom Brady, if he came out right now, it was in his 20s, he'd probably be that kind of quarterback too. That's just the way the game goes now in college.
Yeah. No, he wouldn't run. That's what he made. That's why he was drafted so low, is because that's what he does. He protects himself. He cowers. He sees the blitz coming. He goes straight to the turf. He doesn't try to extend a play.
And he's still around. So
yeah, but he was doing that in his mid-20s. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean he's done that his whole career. That's why he's still around. He's protected himself. He had one freak ACL injury, I think, and that was it.
And he didn't even miss. No.
And then they changed. They completely changed the rules around once Tom Brady went down with that injury. They're like, you can't target the quarterback below the waist anymore.
Yeah. Then you also had, after another injury, you had Jacoby Brissett start a few games. This was when Jimmy Garoppolo started a few games, because those are all guys underneath the New England tree pretty much. They all started there. And the thing is again, New England has tough quarterbacks, it seems, when they have their opportunity. Garoppolo seemed like the best one that never really got an opportunity. Garoppolo doesn't look that good anymore. You have Jacoby Brissett, that's a backup to Phillip Rivers. Last year when he was starting for the Colts, he didn't look good.
Yeah.
He was just a fast quarterback.
Brian Hoyer was there for, 6 years,
still there
7
again
years
in New England.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him when he was here. That was a fun season. Unfortunately, the coaching staff was, I don't know. I mean, Ray Farmer actually put his nose where it didn't belong. And forced
quarterback that year too with Hoyer.
Johnny Manziel.
Oh my
gosh. The Browns were 7-4, and they were Ray Farmer forced the hand for the coaching staff to put in Johnny Manziel.
And look where that went.
Yep. That was Mike Pettin. Mike Pettin didn't want to do that. Mike Pettin. I wish Mike Pettin got the chance to coach for multiple years in Cleveland. I thought he was a good coach.
I mean,
and now he's the defensive coordinator in Green Bay.
I want to check this because I know that he had a good record as a head coach.
It was 7-9. He only coached one season with the Browns, and it was 7-9.
Yeah, he's a defensive coordinator right now for the Packers for the last 2 years. And head coaching wise, he was 7-9. This is the thing, is it makes you wonder.
He did coach 2015. That's
but
right.
It makes you wonder though when it's the coach or the coach being set up for failure.
All I know is
7-9, then you go to 3-13.
All I know is he was 7-4 with Brian Hoyer, and he was 3-22 with Johnny Manziel and others.
Manziel sucks.
Oh, terrible.
He is the cancer to any league that you're starting. If you want to have this league start and end tomorrow, just bring Johnny Manziel in and you're good to go.
Yep.
But the good news, though, is that the Browns are in better shape now that you don't have to worry about a Johnny Manziel. Because these guys that have issues now, bring it up. Kareem Hunt. You had him in the spotlight. He was pulled over for having illegal substances, drinking and driving, this, that, the other thing.
Boo-hoo.
He kicked a female.
Well, I'll go that, yeah. That was bad.
But, all these problems, and then you have the same thing with problems with Odell Beckham Jr. that he's always in the spotlight, and now you end up having discipline. You have guys that are actually disciplined, and you're better off than Johnny Manziel times. Manziel was terrible, and he was just a bad influence for everybody. When he's out there, remember Billy Manziel too, when he had his fake name and fake mustache, and
yep.
Meanwhile. What is up with the Cleveland quarterbacks though? Because you have Baker Mayfield going behind Cheesecake Factory getting in trouble too.
Easy. Take a break. You need to go You need to go relax for a minute.
Nah, you got me all hyped up with this Browns problems.
You need some delight. Use that. Put it actually in there. There you go.
Oh, look at
There,
that.
That delight will make it feel better.
All right, take us to break then, Manscaped.
All right, Manscaped. Shave your balls. Your woman will thank you. You'll actually feel better too. Use the ball toner, ball deodorant, the lawnmower 3.0. Use Manscaped, promo code SPORTS with a Z.
Riggs uses it.
Riggs uses it all the time. Peyton's about to use it on his face to get rid of that dang mustache. But come on up to First Stop Bar and Grill for the Browns game today. It's going to be a good one. Bro Man Burger on special, $2 off. Can't beat it. Enjoy. Go Browns. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast with Parker Pierce, McGiggly.
I'm sorry. I just pulled this up. It's a picture and it says breaking news. Multiple teams interested in Browns safety Andrew Sendejo. Some notables include the McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King crew teams. More to come. Man. Oh, that's funny.
So when's he gonna get traded to Burger King, McDonald's, or?
I don't think he's gonna get traded unless they're maybe hoping to get like a 10-piece McNugget in return. I think they're just gonna have to release him and he's gonna have to go apply.
That's a thing too. When I did the podcast Thursday with Peyton Hillis, I forgot.
Oh, big guy.
You had the invite
you did it?
too.
You were on the show?
Yeah, I'm the only one that showed up.
Riggs didn't go?
No, Riggs was too busy. He said
Keith didn't go?
Oh, Keith was there.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
But so we ended up like talking. I forgot what we were talking about, but it was something about the fact that like one of the quarterbacks in the league that should be bagging groceries right now, and actually got
like Kurt Warner actually used to do that.
Got a good joke out of him too. Like
also big shout out to the
in the backfield
backfield podcast with Keith Migra. Oh yeah, and also Peyton Hillis is on that too. Check out GV Art out of Lakewood. They just came out with an In the Backfield T-shirt with Keith's face on it. It's amazing.
And Peyton Hillis.
Oh yeah, and Peyton Hillis is on it too. It's a sweet looking shirt. Go check it out at GV Art out in Lakewood. Give it a look. In the Backfield Thursday nights 6 to 8.
6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30.
And also, if we're going to be doing that, given the promo codes and whatnot, you go on there, you get 15% off, and you use the promo code Hillis, you get 15% off. And it's on that pre-order, too. So
see that?
It's like $30.
You don't even have to go all the way
off.
out to Lakewood. You can just order it online, right?
Yeah, you know, technology. I'm assuming it'd be shipped to your house, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what computers and
that GVR
technology.
stuff, that's some good stuff. I like their shirts, you know.
And, like, the thing is, too, is that...
I tell them to put, you know, my face on a shirt, but my head's too big and my ears are too wide. It probably wouldn't fit.
Yeah, and you have that shit on your chin, too. I have no room to talk.
Not whatsoever.
Anyways, we're going to run through our picks for the week, and then obviously when we come back, we'll be talking... Oh, wow, Trevor Lawrence is out for next week for Notre Dame, too. That could be a downfall for him.
See now, this is why the college football playoff is so messed up, okay?
This year's
you have
messed up
You have this happening, right? If they lose to Notre Dame, and since, you know, the Big Ten season is cut short, you could potentially... Well, you can't, actually, because of the Big Ten championship. Are they going to play a Big Ten championship game this year?
I think so, but I don't think it's in front of a crowd or anything.
Okay, that's
I honestly
fine.
Don't remember.
So, you figure there's going to probably be a team in the Big Ten that comes out undefeated. You figure Alabama... Are they undefeated at the moment?
Yeah.
They're probably going to be undefeated. If you have a one-loss Clemson team and Trevor Lawrence did not play in that game, like say they lose to Notre Dame, Trevor Lawrence does not play in that game, do you consider it differently than any other one-loss team? Is it just a judgment thing? Like, oh, with Trevor Lawrence, they're a better team, but... You know, then whoever else has one loss. You know what I'm saying?
A player doesn't make a team if it's a team sport. Obviously, he makes an impact, but Tom Brady... That's like saying, like, Tom Brady, if he ended up getting hurt for whatever reason, that the Buccaneers couldn't be in the playoffs.
Well, that's because that's what I'm saying. The NFL system, every other sports system is completely different when it comes to how you get in the playoffs. Whoever has the best record. College, you can't do that because there's 100 and something
and there's a committee
teams
and all
in the
that.
Division I rankings that you have to. It's a judgment call, and there's only how in the world. NCAA, I'm calling you out on this. How in the world do you have 100+ teams in your Division I alone, and you only choose 4 for a playoff? Granted, it's better than the 2 you've been doing, but how do you only have 4? There needs to be at least 8 to 12.
That just seems like 8 to 12.
12 would be perfect. Just do the NFL system the way they did it. You got wild card weekend. First, the top 4 teams get a bye.
So here's the thing. I could see that happening just because college football, everybody watches college football. Some way, somehow, everybody watches college football. You have your own team. You support them that way. So I feel like that could be successful.
Everybody lives in the city, and almost every city has a team.
But it seems that everybody would be on board to watch that. but it's also you don't want to extend it and have it long term like a March Madness because that.
What do you mean?
That's its own entity in basketball.
Yeah. What happens in the NFL? After week 17, what happens in the NFL?
Wild card weekend?
You go to playoffs.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're telling me you'd rather have the Buckeyes sit out a whole 21 to 28 days until their first game? That's what they do?
Yeah,
They sit out for even in bowl season, like when it was just the Bulls. The Fiesta Bowl. How many times were the Buckeyes in the Fiesta
November
Bowl?
Until like late December.
And you're sitting around waiting for a month just to play one bowl game.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything college football wise. But that's also what we've learned. Like that's the way it is that you know that college football that there's always that layoff for these bowl games. Obviously, momentum is always a key in any sport. If you end up winning every single game and then you have weeks off,
it's totally
you
different.
have to train harder though that in between time when you're off to show that you could still hang.
And can you believe that teams used to have to play for a national championship? Literally 1 month later. 1 month later of sitting on their butts. Well, not sitting on. Obviously, they're training. But I mean, football's a totally different. You have to actually have live action in football. I mean, otherwise, it's if I compare it to baseball. Training. It's almost like just hitting off a pitching machine instead of seeing live pitching. You need to see that live action. You have to see it. And
so this year
isn't
the year to do it because with everything going on in the world, COVID, all this fun stuff, Wisconsin had a forfeit this week to Nebraska, I think, or whatever, because they were positive for COVID and they ended up shutting down everything. They have to wait. Originally, this is what their wait is, but they have to wait 21 days. 21 days they have to wait. So that's just something that's going to be natural.
So they're going to have literally 4 games. Oh, my gosh. I can't deal with this.
It doesn't even matter, though, for Wisconsin, because Wisconsin, they're not up there.
Wisconsin always seems to be the team that the Buckeyes have to face in the Big Ten Championship. I mean,
yeah,
they are the powerhouse of that Western Division.
Yeah. It's just...
Nebraska, isn't it?
No, Nebraska they already beat, and that's not even a worry about.
It's not Iowa. Iowa every now and again, maybe.
Is Minnesota in that Western
Minnesota's
division?
in it. Minnesota's pretty good this year.
Maryland
they were
even?
good. Maryland, no.
Good.
It's Maryland, Rutgers, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State.
Gotcha.
And then it goes Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Indiana, and Illinois.
Okay. It's crazy how big that, like, the 2 conferences are when it used to just be one solid conference.
Yeah. I like it, though. The Legend. I think it's the Legends and the something else.
But
I'll look it up.
That's the thing is that, like, this 21-day layoff, this was also that they crammed in all these games within this time period that you can't have time to make up games necessarily. And then Nebraska, they were out of the game, and they were looking at possibly playing Chattanooga, which I forgot who said it. One of the analysis were that they that's a waste of time. Like Nebraska isn't good, and neither is Chattanooga. That's a waste of time for both ends. Like that's not going to benefit either program. You're on 2 separate levels.
You're playing competition. It benefits. I mean, that I don't ever want to hear. I don't ever want to hear anybody say. They're interested in a Buckeyes versus Akron game or something like that. We get those every year.
Or Kent State.
Look at you ever see The Longest Yard?
Yeah.
Play a team like Appalachian State. Kick the shit out of them. Confidence goes up.
And then you face the guards.
Exactly.
But I mean, with Ohio State, this whole entire layoff. If that happens to Ohio State, what's that do for the rankings? Right now, they're ranked 3 in the top 25. You got Clemson, you got Alabama, you got Ohio State, you got Notre Dame at 4.
And I think as long as Ohio State doesn't take an L at any of the weeks, it doesn't matter how close the games are, no matter how bad. Right now, they're in, and I think just based on the fact that they have Justin Fields, and if they win every game, they're going to be in the playoffs. I'm not worried about them. I don't see any potential losses even on the schedule. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I mean, obviously, every matchup, if there is ever that time that there could be a loss, There's always Michigan that could always be something, but at the same time, though, that's just a chance. But within
it doesn't
the
matter.
last
Ohio
10
State.
years,
Apparently, Ryan Day said, is it Ryan Day? Yeah, Ryan Day. He said he's putting up 100 points on Michigan, so I can't wait to see that.
I hope he does.
He needs to get more than 50 for sure.
Yeah.
He's got to back a statement.
But just Michigan alone, going back to the Harbaugh statements and stuff from earlier, with John's the one coaching in Baltimore, Jim's the one in Michigan. But you had the opportunity when Jim was coaching the 49ers, and it was the Harbaugh versus Harbaugh power outage game.
Yeah.
And
that was messed up.
That seemed like something that could have been the future. Like, that could be your two brothers facing off because you had two organizations.
I wonder what would have happened if Jim actually won that Super Bowl. And then the power didn't go out.
Yeah.
They didn't get that comeback. And the 49ers ended up winning the Super Bowl. How would that have changed the coaching perspective? Like, would Jim Harbaugh still be an NFL head coach?
Would Colin Kaepernick still be a quarterback, too? Because he was the one that was leading that charge.
Yep.
Because, I mean, obviously...
Well, I think Colin Kaepernick did other things that kind of got him out of being a
yeah,
NFL
but at the same time,
but,
though, if you have a Super Bowl ring, I think that's a little bit more leverage for you.
A little bit. Not for Trent Dilfer, but, I mean, it could be.
What are probably...
Remember when Trent Dilfer came to Cleveland? Oh, what a disaster that was.
That was Trent Dilfer and Charlie Fry, right? Like,
yeah.
Charlie Fry was his backup. Yeah, that was good times.
No, that was a terrible time to be a Browns fan.
That was one
Absolutely
of the 18 million names that the Browns have on the back of their jerseys.
But, fun fact, though, when Charlie Fry, I was at the Browns-Kansas City game.
Okay.
And Charlie Fry got hurt, and it was the first time Derek Anderson came in. And he led a second-half comeback, and that was the start of the Derek Anderson era.
So that was 2006, then 2007, Derek Anderson started on his own.
They got Jamal Lewis.
They had Jamal Lewis and Jerome Harrison.
Jerome
Harrison was also the one that had like 298 rushing yards
against Kansas City.
That was obnoxious.
In that game, there were two records set. Well, no, it wasn't a record because it was 286, I think, is what he had rushing.
Yeah.
It was the third highest ever. But also, that was the same game Josh Cribbs had two
kickoff
returns for touchdowns.
And then also remember, too, that you had... This is the thing, too, what is kind of lacking in the NFL now, too. And we are going to get for our picks for the week. We did mention that.
We can do that in the next segment if we have to.
Yeah, either way. But the thing is that with the NFL, what is missing is your kick returners. You used to have Josh Cribbs. You had Devin Hester.
Yeah, now they just use any random, fifth string wide receiver. I mean, Peoples-Jones, he's a rookie, and they're just like, hey, we're just going to use you here.
But he's kind of fast, too. So that's kind of like, that could be the thing. But these returners, they don't exist. That you had Cribbs and Hester going back and forth with pretty much career kick returns for touchdowns. Yeah. And now it's 2020, and you're looking at guys that aren't... when is the last time you saw a return for a touchdown?
Well, that's because of the new rule. It's the kicker it's 5 yards up. If the ball lands in the end zone, it's automatically dead.
Right.
It's not like before where it's like it could be recovered by the kicking team. The rules have just completely changed, and honestly, kickers would just rather... I mean, if I was a kick returner and I was back there catching it, if I catch anything inside, the end zone, I'm not bringing it out.
No.
You get 25 yards.
Yep.
It's pointless.
And that's the thing. Touchbacks used to not be 25. It used to be 20.
Yeah, you're not going to be seeing that anymore because the league's trying to be safer. I mean, with the kickoffs, even all the defensive players, they can't get a running start anymore. They have to stand completely still until the ball's kicked.
Yep.
5 yard difference, push it up, try to make up for it. But you don't get those guys coming with so much momentum, and I mean,
it's all a safety thing at the end of the day, and like that's something similar to what the XFL was doing to try to figure out which works together. And I mean, also too, Thursday night's game, Carolina, you saw PJ Walker that was playing in the NFL or in the XFL get his first look at NFL playtime because Teddy Bridgewater went down. It sucks that you only saw him for one series, but it's kind of cool that out of all these XFL quarterbacks, you had Jordan Ta'amu from, I forgot what team, I think it was like the Dallas Renegades, but it was him, and he was that backup for Kansas City, and he ended up getting cut. Him and P.J. Walker were the only ones that, from the XFL, had that opportunity.
Yeah, because Cardale Jones is a joke.
Unfortunately, You're right. But it's cool to see somebody, because XFL is completely different, but you got that opportunity because the NFL is the next step. That's what you want to play for. And that just shows that the XFL had some good talent. It was just a shortened season. Because things happen in the world and you don't have control over it.
There's nothing that can ever compete with the NFL, unfortunately. Because, I mean, we all love football so much. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see more football. I mean, NCAA, obviously, is the only thing that can compete. But it's totally different, and semi-pro sports just is not. It's college. NCAA has so much control. Everybody would rather watch college football over XFL, AFL,
right?
Whatever it was. The NFL, that's a different story. They've just, I don't know how they do it. They monopolized football, and it's a good product. I mean, I enjoy it. At least our city has a team.
Yeah, and I mean, you got Ohio having 2 teams with Cincinnati and with Cleveland.
Oh, they better. I mean, football was originated in Canton, so I mean, Ohio better have 2 teams.
That's also another complete side note too. Riggs, you're at work and not listening, but how about if we were able to take a trip sometime? We Like Sportz Podcast, maybe even possibly do a podcast there, but like Football Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame, go to New York, go to Cooperstown, hang out, and just like, that could be a really good time.
I'm down for Cooperstown. I'm not down for Pro Football Hall of Fame because me and Gypsy Freebird went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and somehow he spent 8 hours in there reading every single thing. I was ready to be done in like 4.5 hours. I couldn't believe it. He read every single word of every single thing, and I'm just like, oh my God, my feet hurt. But it was a really cool experience, though. It was really neat.
This is why we have this thing called technology. When you take a picture of something,
oh yeah,
and then you take a picture of it, and then later on, after I took a picture of this delight, I could read that later on and be like, oh, that's called delight.
Yeah.
And I could see the fine print. It just makes so much sense.
It was a lot of fun going there. It was really neat. I mean, my favorite part is all the statues.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see. It is really neat.
That's something. Cooperstown, 100%. That's a bucket list thing for me. Like, I want to go. I used to
play tournaments in Cooperstown.
Okay, big shot. Take it easy. I know that you were too busy taking naps on the bus to ruin your baseball career. So
hey, that was later in life.
But so Cooperstown, isn't that Williamsport? I'm thinking. It's
Little League World Series. We could do Little League World Series next year. That'd be fun. We'll go there and do it.
If we end up having a world that's open like that, that could be really fun. Like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully it's not going to be losing any more bets. Need to shave this. That's another thing, too. We're in November now.
You should stop betting. You need to go to Gamblers Anonymous, I think, if you're going to be making these poor bets.
But the thing is, though, is that I'm not losing out on money. I'm losing out on my dignity.
Exactly. That's worse.
Dude, I don't have any dignity. That's the difference.
Take it to break.
All right. Okay.
We're not going to get shut down.
So Brian was asking if we end up
having a shutdown. If we get shut down, we're rioting. We are rioting. Everybody here at First Stop, we're rioting.
No, we're not rioting.
All right, never mind. We're not rioting.
We're not going that far. I'm not trying to deal with the problems, no lawsuits, no nothing. Because if that does happen, they're going to be like, yeah, that Parker Pierce guy said, let's do it. So
I work here, dude. It's fine.
But the thing is if we do have a shutdown, this would be the most Cleveland Browns like thing to have a shutdown, have them win out. You go until December, they have 2-3 losses.
They have to move to a different city temporarily. Remember when the hurricanes happened in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Didn't the Saints play in like New York or something? I'm pretty sure they played somewhere else.
Yeah, they moved.
Yeah.
Minnesota ended up moving too when their stadium collapsed.
Oh yeah, they moved to the college, Minnesota College.
And I want to say that was like full time afterwards. That like it was like 2 or 3 years that they were playing at Minnesota College or University of Minnesota. Be specific enough. But if there is a shutdown though, I mean, there's nothing you could control over it. If sports do get shut down, you still got a taste of football. How would that impact to go a step further?
We're not getting shut down.
Anybody with fantasy football, though.
We're not getting shut down. Doesn't matter. We're not getting shut down.
All right. On that note, I guess we're going to take a quick break. Parker's got a Manscaped. That's all I got. We'll be back after this on the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Sports with a Z.
Yep, there you go. Promo code Sports with a Z. We'll be back.
With a Z.
We're back on the We Like Sportz Podcast. Parker Pierce, Peyton Vince, lefty quarterbacks everywhere. Like you mentioned, we're watching the countdown today.
Yeah,
and
always. That's the choice. NFL countdown. I just want to see that's on ESPN. Monday Night Football is the You Got Moss segment, but nothing's happened yet. It's only Sunday.
So you have Tua Tagovailoa having his first start against the Rams. I think we hit on this earlier in the week, but not so good of a decision to have him start off against the Rams.
I feel so bad for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That guy is just such a team guy. He's a team leader, and he does anything you say. You sit him, you bench him, you start him, you put him in whenever. He doesn't complain. He doesn't say anything. He's in his mid-30s right now.
Yeah, he's
and
late 30s, I think.
He's been a journeyman, and this time when he got benched, he actually felt like he had a piece of his heart taken out. Like he felt like this was his team.
Well, I mean, it's been 2 years that he's been there? Because the last year you had, Josh Rosen?
Oh God, what a disaster!
there.
Yeah. I can't believe people even mentioned that the Browns should draft Josh Rosen in that draft.
So here's the thing, is that with Josh Rosen, everybody's asking why you're having Tua start this game. In Miami, the more and more I think about it, their mindset, they've even mentioned that they want to see what Tua brings to the table, which makes sense because when you give guys like Josh Allen, if you knew that he was going to be something, you wouldn't have drafted Tua. So you have to find out what Tua does, and then this way you could see if you need to draft another quarterback. The Miami Dolphins are literally like the Browns in the past. I could see tons of quarterbacks going through there and just not succeeding right now.
See, my whole thing was in college, Tua felt like he was just a product of Alabama. His successes came from the amount of talent he had around him. His offensive line was bigger than any defense in all of NCAA.
You had Jedrick Wills on the left side, and he was a lefty quarterback.
That's the thing that's scary. Even with Ohio State and Alabama quarterbacks terrify me because everybody else on the field is bigger, faster, and stronger.
Right.
What do you need for football? To be big, to be fast, to be strong. What do you also need? A good head coach.
Yep.
Nick Saban. I just feel like quarterbacks that come from Alabama, A.J. McCarron is really the only one I can think of in recent years that's even still has an NFL career.
Right.
And even when teams try to trade for him, they do it after the deadline. And they don't get it in time because they really don't care that much.
Oh, man. I'm not even a Browns fan, but damn.
So, when it comes to Alabama quarterbacks, I'm interested to see how Tua does today. That's going to be intriguing to watch. First thing intriguing to watch in Miami since, a long time.
Well, back when he had guys like Jarvis Landry and who was the running back?
Even then, they
who
weren't that good.
Who was the running back back then too?
I miss Ricky Williams. That was in early 2000s, but I miss Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams started the trend for Josh Gordon, Antonio Callaway to get on the field and smoke him. Yeah, I almost slipped up.
I smoked. I got high when I totally forgot that I wasn't supposed to get high. You ever see that headline? It's so funny.
Ricky Williams, and then the fact that Baltimore ended up picking him up too, and
he actually didn't do bad in Baltimore.
No,
wasn't it him and Willis McGahee back then? I'm pretty sure it was Ricky Williams and Willis McGahee in Baltimore.
I want to say that could have been the start, but I want to say near the tail end. I think it was also Terrence West and Ricky Williams at one point
No,
too.
Terrence West was way later. Terrence West was like 2014, 2015.
Whatever happened to him?
He sucked.
Or else Isaiah Crowell too. Guys that everybody thought he was good.
Running backs are the type of thing where it's like you can be so average and everybody will think you're so good. We think Nick Chubb is the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, the whole shebang. Doesn't matter. ESPN will still rank him just in the top 5. He's not like the greatest of all time. Like he's just another top running back.
Yep.
He's good, but the running back position, there's so many of them. The true number one running back in the NFL when he's healthy is Christian McCaffrey. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Chubb's right there, though. Chubb is right there.
Give me your breakdown of the top 5 that you think running back.
My top 5 running backs?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4,
number
5.
One is
Christian
McCaffrey. The kid Aaron Jones from Green Bay.
Okay.
I'm going to throw Chubb on there. Oh, let's see.
If you want to think
Dalvin
of
Cook.
those.
Dalvin
Think
Cook.
of those.
And then he hasn't proven it this year, but I've said that the Browns have had 2 potential top 5, so I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. But I'm not going to go Kareem Hunt. I'm going to go with... I like this guy for weird reasons, and his speed is so good. I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert. I feel like if he got an actual chance to take every snap, every down, I think he could be a really big impact player in the NFL.
So, my top 5, no specific order. You got Dalvin Cook in there. You got Christian McCaffrey. I think you could include in Saquon. No.
I should have.
I do wanna-
Saquon's right there. He is right there.
I'm not going to include him, though. I'm going to take Derrick Henry over Saquon.
Why did I not pick Derrick Henry? Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry's a
Derrick
beast.
Henry's. I take Derrick Henry instead of Mostert. I was just trying to be creative.
You got Chubb in there, too. For that, to round out the top 5, though, I feel like I'm going to have to probably go with Saquon. Because Saquon or Ezekiel Elliott, that would be the 2 I'd have to pick, but I don't think Ezekiel Elliott proves much anymore. I mean, he's good. I think that's a good organization he's playing for, and that's why he's a good running back on paper.
Yeah.
And, then you have guys like Todd Gurley and stuff, too, that used to be something.
Todd Gurley, I'll tell you what.
Atlanta, he's looking rough.
He's looking really rough. I mean, Matt Ryan is having a very, very, very above average to good quality year, yet somehow his team is still 1-6.
Yep.
Well, they actually won, so now they're 2-6.
Whoop-de-doo.
But still,
Riggs was the only one that got that right, too.
Matt Ryan is having a great year. He is. But they can't win ball games. I don't understand it. Todd Gurley is a disaster at running back. The defense is a nightmare. They blow leads all the time. Atlanta is a dumpster fire, and they should just literally clean house. They should clean house. Get as much as you can in return for it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do at this point, because Atlanta, you either have to fire Dan Quinn.
Well, yeah, you fire Dan Quinn. Absolutely fire Dan Quinn. But from where they're at, Atlanta, sorry, you're not making a 28-3 comeback in this season. It's not going to happen. You're not getting to the playoffs this year.
No.
Fire sale. Stock up and see what you can do. Go out and get a new head coach, because Dan Quinn.
Let's go a step further, though. If you want to talk about guys that had big expectations to go into the year, too, Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. A lot of people were high on him that, maybe this is his year. At least from a fantasy standpoint, a lot of people liked him.
He doesn't. He gets. Let's just say he runs too fast for his own good. Like on that breakaway.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And that's the thing too, is again, in the backfield, Peyton Hillis, Keith Meyer, when I hopped on, I was talking with Peyton Hillis about just Daniel Jones. He's a guy that's a Duke quarterback. Duke's not known for football. That's kind of similar to Mitchell Trubisky. North Carolina is not known for football.
I mean, even go further. Can you believe that the Cleveland Browns, with the first ever pick in their new revamped history in 1999, picks a quarterback from Kentucky?
Is that Tim Couch?
That's Tim Couch. How do you pick a quarterback from Kentucky?
These are all basketball schools that are relevant.
Yeah. No, that's not who you're going for football guys. Look at it. There's never been anybody good from anybody in that division.
This is the thing, is that there's so many of these quarterbacks that they're possibly good, but they're good on bad teams. Carson Wentz, North Dakota State University or whatever, North Dakota University. You have Josh Allen.
Carson Wentz, I thought was really good.
Yeah, and then he can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
he's getting a lot of Jalen Hurts.
Yep, Jalen Hurts.
See, it makes sense because that's his backup. That's a dad joke for you guys.
I
out there
thought
with kids.
Jalen Hurts was Green Bay's backup.
No, Jordan Love.
Oh, Jordan Love. That's it. Never mind.
Yeah, so you have that. You have all those guys. But to go back to Browns talk for a little bit, you have a matchup again with the Raiders against the Browns. Last time they matched up was 2018.
That was one heck of a game. It was back and forth. I believe it was 44-41.
I believe
like
so.
That.
And it was so many missed calls that...
Oh, yeah, the Browns were screwed. They had the
Nick
fumble.
Chubb's coming out game.
And they also had the fumble return for a touchdown, and then they called it dead. They called it dead. The Raiders guy fumbled the ball.
Yep.
Browns guy returned it for a touchdown, but they called it dead because they said he was down. Then it turns out he actually fumbled it.
and then you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's dumb. And then you also have, I think that was Antonio Callaway with like a 95-yard reception.
Yeah. Jarvis Landry had a touchdown reception in the end.
Higgins had a game too.
Yep.
And that was Baker Mayfield's first.
It was his coming out party.
Yeah.
It was his coming out party.
The team that they have now.
It was the week after the Jets. I mean, the Jets game was a coming out party in itself. I was at that game. Never felt electricity in the air before in my life. That's the first time the Browns Stadium has been electric in 20 years.
Yep.
First time there's actually electricity in the air. Usually there's nothing to really root for at a Browns game. It felt so different. It felt so different. And when he led that comeback, I mean, I've never felt electricity in the air from any Indians game I've ever been to, any Cavs game, nothing. Didn't matter. There's a difference. There's a huge difference between 40,000 at a baseball game and 75,000 at a football game. That's a huge difference, and there was electricity in the air that night.
And like the thing is too is that you had everybody that game versus the Jets game. You told me that when you went that it was everybody chanting Baker in the stadium.
Oh yeah,
everybody was pumped up. Nobody was chanting for Nick Chubb though, and Nick Chubb the next week.
We wanted Nick Chubb in there.
That Atlanta game, he had that 97-yard run or whatever against Atlanta. I mean, Nick Chubb was the one that was back with Carlos Hyde.
They traded in the I think it was in the Jets game. Carlos Hyde was taken off the field because his wife was in labor.
I think, I
think
you're right.
Yeah, and that's when Chubb really got the opportunity. They also had another running back. They had three of them. Chubb was the third.
You had Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson.
Duke Johnson, yeah, it was Duke Johnson.
And that's. Imagine if you still would have had Duke Johnson plus Kareem Hunt plus Nick Chubb. That would be way too crowded.
Much. Yeah, I mean, look at Dernish Johnson.
Yeah,
Dernish Johnson is doing just fine. You don't need that much depth at running back.
Yeah.
You need guys who can follow their blocks. That's all you gotta do.
Absolutely. And it's just crazy though that 2 years ago this was a game that the Browns lost, which they should have won. This is the time that when you're back in Cleveland 2 years later, different head coach. I'm not saying this is a must-win game, but this is a redemption game for you. That Baker had a good game. You have to end up winning this game easily. You have to show that Las Vegas. John Gruden, Peyton Hillis was speaking highly of John Gruden. If it's not his way, it's the highway. That's why Antonio Brown. That's why he couldn't stick around. Is because it's very by his book, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have this going on. You have Gruden. You have a rookie head coach.
This is the type of game. It's going to be a good game, I think, either way. But this is the type of game where you find out exactly where these two teams are right now. And it's week 8. It's week 8. We're almost at the halfway point. Wednesday's the halfway point. This is a very, very, very important game for the Browns. It just shows you exactly the two teams you lost to are probably top 3 teams in the NFL.
Yeah, Ravens,
they
Steelers,
really are.
And you're going to find out which one's the better one out of the two of them.
But
today.
now you're facing one of those middle-of-the-road teams. Sometimes they're in the top half. Sometimes they're in the bottom. Derek Carr's been playing well. You never know. They've beaten the Kansas City Chiefs,
and that's their only loss.
This is the type of game where you really find out where both of these teams actually are. And I think you're going to have a repeat of 2018. It's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, and that's
two below-average defenses.
And that's a fun game to watch, though.
It's going to be a lot of exciting football today.
Because people, from a sports perspective, they don't like baseball because it's too little scoring. People don't like basketball
if you don't
because they score too much.
If you don't like baseball, it's because you're not really that intelligent.
I didn't say it. I did. But he's absolutely right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to give our Browns predictions coming back. And I think that's about it. We got about 10 minutes left at First Stop Bar and Grill, State Road in Parma. And then also we got a Manscaped, too. I got to Manscape this shit off my face. Right, and welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast, the next segment of the day.
We are live from First Stop in Parma. Come on and watch the Browns game. Every time the Cleveland Browns score a touchdown, the entire bar gets a free shot. I'm not lying. Come check it out.
I just got my phone back.
Congratulations.
Thanks. My dad grounded me, so I got to get it back.
Yeah? Well, we're going to go through our NFL quick predicts. We're going to give a rundown. Currently, I am tied with this jabroni. I can't believe it. I made some really dumb picks last week, but I kind of went against the grain, and I'm already 0 for 1 this week because Carolina really crapped the bed.
Well, the only one that got it right this week was actually Riggs.
I'm not worried about Riggs. He's so far behind.
Remember,
fine.
He's 1 point behind you.
Oh, he's 1 point behind you too.
Yeah.
Never mind, Riggs. All right. Sorry, dog.
So on that note, we got Indianapolis versus the Detroit Lions. Riggs got Detroit. Who knows? Maybe he might get it right again.
Oh, man. Riggs is really pushing for a comeback, isn't he?
He's trying to do the right thing, but everybody else picking the Colts. This is going to be a tough game. Detroit's coming off of a win 2 weeks ago. We'll see what happens, although I think Indianapolis pulls through. You got the Rams versus the Miami Dolphins.
That's unanimous.
First start.
I don't see anything coming for Miami there.
We got the Vegas Raiders and the Cleveland Browns. Riggs is picking the Vegas Raiders like you
He's
picked the
going
Bengals
on,
last week.
I mean, I'm happy I did pick the Bengals last week because it got the Browns a victory, maybe some reverse psychology or whatever. But, whatever. Maybe Riggs is trying it too.
We'll see what happens, though, but for majority, everybody picked the Browns. We'll see what happens. This is going to be something that's an important game. This whole entire pick'em, it's getting close, and we got a couple more weeks left. Like you said, halfway through the season just about. We got Green Bay, and Minnesota. Everybody's picking Green Bay. New England versus Buffalo. Everybody's picking Buffalo.
Yeah.
New England, they sat Cam Newton last week.
Cam Newton is a disaster, and he needs to focus more on, honestly, just sitting on the bench rather than what he's planning on wearing and being in his closet the entire day, trying to figure that out.
And when people like Jeff Garcia are ragging on you,
Jeff Garcia dogged him.
Yeah, worry about what you do on the field. And Jeff Garcia is not a god at quarterback either. But when you have Jeff Garcia coming at you from behind, you're wasting your time. That's not the career.
I didn't even know
for
Jeff Garcia even had an analyst job until that moment. And that's the first thing he does, Rob.
This is going to be bad, but I didn't know he was still relevant. But anyways, we got Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Keith and myself picked Pittsburgh. You guys all picked Baltimore. We can make up some ground right there. If you guys end up faulting, we'll see what happens. This is going to be a close game. It's a 1 o'clock game, too, I believe. So, again, 2 close teams, 6-0, 5-1. It's a 1 o'clock game.
I can't believe that game is at 1 o'clock. I really can't. I really can't.
Tennessee versus Cincinnati. You got Keith picking Cincinnati. Everybody picking the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
The Chargers versus Denver. Everybody picked the Chargers and Justin Herbert. New Orleans versus Chicago. This is a tough matchup.
I took Chicago. I believe in Big Dick Nick, and
It's not a bad option, though, because Michael Thomas is out for the 6th straight week.
Yes.
But I think that the Saints they're coming off of a win, too, last week. They bit me in the ass. I can't pick against them. That's the way my thought process is. You got the 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Riggs again picking the 49ers. That could be good news for him. Everybody else picking Seattle. We'll see how this game goes.
Yeah, it'll be a good one, actually. I mean, San Francisco's coming off a really big win last week.
Cleveland a 1 point underdog today. That's it. 1 point underdog.
They're 1 point overdog.
Favorite. Underdog and favorite were the same thing in my head. But 1 point favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
they're given 1 point. That would make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see how it works out. I mean, Browns deal with injuries. Oakland has had some big wins. I mean, there's no reason.
Los Angeles, Oakland, same thing.
You mean Las Vegas?
God.
Yeah.
You said Oakland.
The triple whammy. The triple whammy of wrongness.
Oh, man. Anyways, Sunday night game. This is where the Steelers and Ravens should probably play.
They should be there.
You got the Eagles. You got the Cowboys.
Oh, what a terrible. Oh, yeah. We're going based on tradition and rivalry. Nobody wants to see that game.
You got a toilet bowl going on here.
It's pretty bad. That game should have definitely been moved.
But that's Philadelphia all the way throughout, and everybody's picking Tom Brady and the Buccaneers to beat the Giants. Yep. That's your predictions for this week. You obviously got the Browns versus the Raiders. this could be a really good. It's going to be a battle of the quarterbacks, I think, too. You have bad defenses.
Yes.
You got Derek Carr, who has good
although,
games and
although
bad
as
games.
we're looking
you got
out the
Baker.
window here at first out, the rain's really coming down. And I mean, it's gonna be a cold one. It's not gonna be a lot of fun out there, and you might have to rely on the run game a bit. How does I think today, you know who I think really needs to have an impact game is the back Kareem Hunt and D'Ernest Johnson especially.
Well,
if D'Ernest Johnson comes through and has a game like he had in Dallas when Nick Chubb went down, the Browns will have a good shot at winning this game. We need. It was irrelevant in Pittsburgh, and it was even irrelevant last week, but that's because Baker Mayfield went off. We got to get the run game going again.
Every game that Kareem Hunt scores a touchdown this year, Browns are 5-0. Every game he doesn't, they're 0-2. Keys to the game, I'm stealing a feature. The keys to the game, it's the Browns having Kareem Hunt score a touchdown. If their run game's able to score a touchdown, it is what it is. That's going to be more success for you. You have Odell Beckham Jr. out. It's going to be interesting to see what the benefit is, if there is one, or if that was just all bad team, good Baker.
Yeah.
If he ends up having a good breakout game, that's a little bit of a confidence boost if you're a Browns fan. You could trust Baker Mayfield, but we'll see what happens. I don't want to be too cocky.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, and I can't wait for it.
1 o'clock game.
And you don't have any right to be cocky about talking about Browns since you're not even a fan, you jabroni.
But here's the thing, though, is when it comes to cockiness, I said the same thing to you when they faced the Pittsburgh Steelers. It seems like everybody was overconfident. The Raiders beat the best team in the NFL, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as a Steelers fan, too. The Steelers are still undefeated. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a game that the Steelers-Ravens, I think that's game of the week, but overall with the Browns.
Can I just say one thing over? I just saw an interesting highlight. It was the DK Metcalf chase down.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf should be and has to be the only NFL player that should be a two-way player. He should be on the field on every single play. He needs to play defense and offense.
You know
He's
who
too
his
good.
dad is, right?
Oh,
Usain Bolt.
Isn't it like Mike Metcalf or
No,
something?
it's Usain Bolt.
I'm just kidding.
But
It's
anyways,
Eric Metcalf, you fool.
I'm just letting you know, though, Usain Bolt, that's in his line of hereditary because
Oh,
with
is
that
it?
fast. Yeah, he's lightning quick.
Or he's just like his dad, returning 2 punts against the Steelers in one game.
All right, don't bring that up.
No, I just did.
Don't get me started. But on that note, guys, Wednesday, we're going to be live from Riggs' house once again. Got our producer Brian taking care of that come Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. Before that, we're going to be watching a little bit of Real Bros of Simi Valley.
Oh, yeah, saw, dude. Hey, we are going to be live.
sure.
We're going to be hanging out here at First Stop for the Browns game today. Come on up. Great food, great drinks, great people. Come on in. Let's hang out. Go Brownies.
On that note, we'll see you Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. Back again, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Yams, hams, potatoes, tomatoes, Browns, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals.
Yeah, all that.
Anyways, on that note, we will see you Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30. Catch you again. Go Browns, go Steelers.
No, don't point at me when you say that, you fool.
You close it then, because you don't want me to do it.
Peace. I gave my deuces. See you on Wednesday, people.
You almost said fools.